Can we do the video?
Yeah, we can do the video. Ah. Welcome once again to Husband, Father, Theologian. Today I thought I would begin with a reading of a history book that I've recently acquired that helps explain somewhat, by way of introduction, that you might know a bit more about the background of the Lutheran Church in South Australia, its beginning, so how the people were thought of when they first immigrated. The following is a newspaper report entitled "The Germans in South Australia." Our attention having been frequently called to the German immigrants, we have great pleasure in inserting a document proceeding from our respected friend, Pastor Carvel, expressive of their sentiments on the late occasion when, in a manner so credible, they came forward heartily to testify their attachment to the British Crown. The address is characteristic of that ardent and deep-seated enthusiasm which so distinguishes the German nation. It overflows with grateful feeling towards their benefactors, while it breathes not a murmur against the sovereign to whom they formerly owed allegiance, and by whose ordinance alone they were necessitated to abandon their dearest ties of kindred and country. It is also so modest in abstaining from allusion to their own claims that we cannot allow the opportunity to pass without adverting to the advantages resulting to the colony from our German brethren. There are now at least 3 villages located with German families, besides a number of individuals of both sexes employed as servants among the colonists. We have heard but one account of their conduct, and it is the most satisfactory possible. They are uniformly found to be conscientious and industrious in service, regular, sedate, and capable of applying themselves to many different kinds of labour. The females are adept at almost every household and rural occupation, and the men, whatever may be the appropriate trade which they more immediately profess, are all useful labourers in digging and fencing, and many of them excellent in building, sawing, and carpenter work. In labour of this kind they are often preferred to our own countrymen, who in many cases might do well to imitate their patient and enduring habits. In the Mount Barker district, in particular, they have been found invaluable, where the settlers, without them, would have been reduced to the alternative of bringing up labourers from the town at great expense. The Germans of Harndorf have been drafted out in parties among the settlers, and have assisted in making stockyards, fencing, breaking up ground, and building houses. They rise early and work late, are moderate and easily contented as to food and accommodation, are cheerful and pleasant in their intercourse with fellow labourers, and even, during the hours appointed for relaxation, will offer to bake or to do other useful things about the station. But the most prominent characteristic of all is their piety. In every act they acknowledge their God, when they rise, when they are at meals, and when they go to sleep. At the end of the week they like to return to their own village to join their congregation, or, where this cannot conveniently be done, the parties at adjoining stations will meet to celebrate divine worship and sing the song of Zion in a strange land. Striking is the effect of these Teutonic accents rising amid our solitary places. Here, however, they have the liberty of conscience, which was denied them at home. And they can live contented in spite of various privations. They express themselves simply but emphatically of this. "What more has man to do?" said a very intelligent elderly member of the community, "than to labour and to pray without ceasing." They labour and pray accordingly, and look with faith to receive the blessing of God upon their toil. Surely such a people deserve to be happy. The importation of communities like these is of paramount benefit here. Indeed, it is following out legitimately the views on which the province was founded. We have abundant tracts of fertile land now opened up to capital and enterprise, and we only want combined labour to render them productive. We are glad to see the rural settlers increasing and hope shortly to find villages rising in many directions, where the inhabitants would readily find employment. The German settlement at Harndorf must sensibly enhance the value of land in the Mount Barker district by removing many of the obstacles which distance from the chief town would otherwise have placed against locating there with advantage. Similar settlements ought to be promoted in other such quarters. We should like to see the worthy Germans, numbers of whom we believe will yet arrive in the colony, properly provided for. By these and a variety of other modes, much valuable land might be brought under cultivation and a respectable rural population formed. Luther, when he considers the pastoral office, tells us that ministry and word must do great things and work actual miracles spiritually in the soul. Such as the hidden daily miracles the pastoral office deals in, far better than temporary health or healing or worldly blessing. For Luther, the pastoral office and its work are seen as celebrated by God, though men may not recognize or esteem them. Pastors should expect to be outcasts of this world like Christ was, and that this mistreatment would be a good sign that he was an upright man like his Lord Christ. For Luther, pastors are soldiers in a hidden spiritual war against heresy, error, the sinful flesh, and its imagination, as well as the wisdom of this world and its king, the devil. As such, he must strive and fight against the gates of hell, Matthew 16:18, and overcome the devil. This is a much more vivid and striking image of the ministry's hidden side. Perhaps pastors must be careful that they don't go through their ministry with spiritual blinkers on, and be prepared for the devil when he rides out to meet them in deadly warfare. I wonder if, when you look at your pastor, I wonder if he's a bit old, a bit out of touch, a bit not with it. But I wonder if you could see into that deeper part, that spiritual side, and I wonder if you could see with the eyes of heaven or the spiritual realm for a bit. I wonder what you'd see. Would it be the same man in a cheap suit or in an alb or a robe? I wonder if you could see like God sees, whether he'd be, a great warrior, soaked in blood, fighting with scars all over himself from various battles he's fought, and the older, the more grizzled and wizened the veteran. So yeah, something to think about. Now the green blade rises from the buried grain, wheat that in the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love has come again, like wheat that springs up green. In the grave they laid him, love whom men had slain, thinking that never he would wake again. Laid in the earth, like grain that sleeps unseen, love has come again, like wheat that springs up green. Up he sprang at Easter, like the risen grain. He who for 3 days in the grave had lain, raised from the dead, my living Lord is seen. Love has come again, like wheat that springs up green. When our hearts are wintry, grieving or in pain, your touch can call us back to life again. Fields of our hearts that dead and bare have been, love has come again, like wheat that springs up green.